Hey guys, George Roddy. All right, I want to talk about pre-foreclosures. Now, there's two stages of foreclosures. There's before the auction and at the auction. And what I want you guys to do is implement before the auction marketing. Every month, there are people that are being foreclosed on, and these leads are posted at the courthouse and made available by third-party companies. Like my father does at Foreclosure Listing Service. So let me give you a little bit of background music. Some of you guys are going to be watching the How to Buy Foreclosure class that is provided, and that has 3 hours of going into the essence of foreclosures and how to work with homeowners. But I want to kind of give you a quick tutorial and just kind of give you a game plan on moving forward and implementing pre-foreclosures as one of your motivated leads. All right, so number one is trustee sales versus sheriff sales. There's two types of auctions that are going to occur on the first part of the month, and here in the state of Texas, it happens on the first Tuesday of the month. So with a trustee sale, that is where a homeowner is being foreclosed on because of non-payment of mortgages. And that's where the majority of pre-foreclosures lie, is at the trustee sale. For instance, in Dallas County, there's about 2,000 properties posted every month for the trustee sale versus only 60 to 75 properties a month posted for the sheriff sale. Now, they're both pre-foreclosures, but they're two different auctions and two different lead sources. So both of these leads have to be publicized in a paper or at the courthouse, and this is where the third-party companies like my father, he gets his information. We get our information directly from the courthouse, and by law, these leads have to be made public, and the borrower has to be sent a notification of the upcoming auction at least 21 days before the auction. So in Texas, it's a we're one of the fastest foreclosure states in the nation. So these leads will come out usually 19 or 20 days from a third-party provider, or if you go down to the courthouse, all of them will be posted on the bulletin board, and you have to sift through those to find the leads that, and really it's somewhat laborious to sift through 2,000, 3,000 pieces of paper, and unfortunately they don't tell you which ones have high equity or not. Now, bullet number 3 says higher motivation. We believe that there is higher motivation for these people because there's an auction that's going to occur a few weeks later. So something must be done, or they're going to lose their house to either the bank's going to foreclose on it, or in most cases, if it has a lot of equity and it doesn't need a ton of repairs, then some cash investor is going to purchase that property or that lien on the courthouse steps. Now, bullet number 4 is 6 to 8 months behind. These people are 6 to 8 months behind. Heck, I've seen people that are 2, 3, even 10 years behind. But what you need to find, as always, is figure out which motivated sellers are in your backyard, and these pre-foreclosures is one lead source. You need to make sure that you understand that if you get one of these pre-foreclosures under contract, we're probably going to have to close it sooner than a normal transaction, because you're marketing to them, and I'll go over when and how to market to them, but you're marketing to them usually around 18, 19 days before the auction, and so you have to act quickly. You're not going to have 2 to 3 weeks to find an investor. So just keep that in mind. High volume, I mentioned that, much higher volume. There's every month there's a new batch of pre-foreclosure leads that come out. So much higher volume than, for instance, maybe absentee owners, which you mail continuously over a 6, 8, 12-month period. Now, where can you get this information? You can certainly go down to any courthouse, and most likely there will be a bulletin board or there will be a binder that you can start sifting through these pieces of paper, and they're all called notices of trustee sale. That's on the trustee side, they're called notices of trustee sale. And on the sheriff sale side, which, by the way, the sheriff sale is for someone that hasn't paid 3, 4, 5 years of back taxes, your ad valorem taxes. Those two are foreclosed on the courthouse steps. Much lower volume on the sheriff sale versus the trustee. So Where do you get both of these information yourself is go down to your local county clerk's office, and usually there's a bulletin board where you can get this off. Now it's somewhat laborious, so I would probably look at, are there any third-party research companies in your county that provide this information? And up here in 22 counties in the state, Foreclosure Listing Service, or FLS Online, we provide this information to you, so you can subscribe to our services. We do all the work for you, get you the leads, put it in an electronic format. You can go online and download and search what you're looking for. And certainly you're not going to research and go after all 2,000, but you will every month. I want you to implement this strategy and start marketing to these people. Okay, now how much does it cost? Well, to subscribe, it's around $40 to $50 a month for this lead. And there's a lot of different leads you can use, but we believe that this is a great lead source because these people don't want to lose their house on the courthouse steps. Now, it comes down to how many times the leads, at least from us, we put out all of the leads, all 2,000 leads in Dallas County, or 700 leads in Collin County, or 500 leads in Travis County, whatever county we track. There's anywhere from 100 to Harris County, which has 3,000 a month. Well, we put out those leads 19 days before the auction, and that's both for the trustee sale and the sheriff's sale. And so what I want you guys to do is get your postcards. And here's, if you use a third-party fulfillment center, we need to make sure those postcards go out the Friday. And the Friday is basically going to be 18 days before the auction. So what I need you guys to do is write down 18 days. So it's basically 18 days before the first Tuesday of the month. So in Texas, or wherever you're at, you need to figure out when the auction is. And in Texas, it's the first Tuesday of the month. And then you need to get, I'm telling you, the day after you get all the leads, which is 19 days, you need to have your postcards in order, and you need to start getting those in the mail 18 days before the auction, okay? Then I want you to wait a week, and I want you to mail it on 11 days before. I want you to touch these people in your backyard twice. Okay, they're going to get a postcard from you, and it can even be the same postcard. It doesn't have to. We're going to have a lot of different postcards and letters for you to send, and we'll label them pre-foreclosure. So choose what marketing piece you want, postcard or a letter. I want you to send them out on the 18 days before the auction and 11 days before the auction. Okay, in 1 month. So always mark your calendar. You need to put on there, the leads come out in Texas around 19 to 20 days. By 18 days, you need to send out a postcard. And by 11 days, you need to send out a postcard. So let me quickly show you what the lead source looks like, just kind of walk you through the pre-foreclosure list that FLS provides. And there's lots of providers of information. So wherever you're out, wherever you're at, and whoever provides this, the first thing you need to do is see if it's worth your time to subscribe to a third-party company versus spending 2 days on the courthouse. I think you're going to be a better investor and make more money getting it and paying for it and mailing out your postcards instead of being on the courthouse steps or on the bulletin board trying to write down and figure out which deals have equity. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm on Foreclosure Listing Services website. I've got a login name and a password. I'll log in. I'm going to go to Foreclosure Properties. Then I'm going to put in my county, and depending on what county you subscribe to, you'll pull up and it'll have which county you're paying for. So let's take Collin County, for instance, and let's go to City of Allen. You see how with our service you can search for what you want, and we're a big proponent of owning your backyard and knowing all the motivated sellers that are in your backyard. There's no point in going out and venturing out 30, 40, even an hour away when there's a bunch of good leads in your backyard. So I put in Collin County and Allen. Let's see how many there are posted for this upcoming August sale. there's 47 people or borrowers that are posted for foreclosure, 47 records. Now, out of those 47, here's the creme de la creme. What you want to do is figure out of those 47, which ones have a bunch of equity. So what I'll do is I'll scroll down and I'll use the loan to tax value ratio. So I'm going to put 1 to 60%. What this does is it takes the tax assessed value, or it takes the loan and divides it by the tax assessed value. Hence, which ones have equity and which ones don't. So we're only going to look for deals that have at least 40% equity. And you're going to see that your numbers are going to be significantly reduced. But these are what you want to go after first. I definitely want you to mail to these people. Well, needless to say, there's only 2 records that have 60% equity. So what I'm going to do is, that's not enough. I'm going to come back and I'm going to put 70. Let's see if I can get at least 10. I'm up to 5. So, and let me just show you what these 5 records look like. So here are the 5 records in Allen, and you've got 2025 Fox Glen. The tax assessed value is $193,000. All right, and then come over here. FLS thinks that, and we've estimated that they owe 85. So you take 85 divided by 193,000, that's 44 cents on the dollar. So that's loaded with equity. And here you have the borrower's name, you have the zip code, the tax assessed value, the square footage, the year built. There's your legal description right here. Again, mortgagor stands for borrower's name, mortgagee stands for the lender, and the trustee, this is who we don't want to see. The trustee, if the trustee shows up, that means there's an auction. And our goal is to approach these homeowners with our marketing pieces so it avoids the courthouse steps. See, the loan was taken out in March of 2003, and it was a C/F, which means a conventional Fannie Mae loan. Then the loan was $147,000, and we think the balance is $85,000. We've amortized the loan. We got this information about the loan, the year that it was taken out, and the type from this volume and page. And this is actually the instrument number for the deed of trust that was recorded in Collin County. The last things are monthly payment. You can see how we didn't provide one because the deed of trust didn't have one. The time is 1 to 4, and this is, again, we don't want Kathy Lee to show up. We want to get this property under contract before and actually close on it before the first Tuesday of the month. So 1 to 4 is when Kathy would show up if it makes it, and again, we're trying to avoid that. And then the last thing is 2003 to 2018. This is the maturity date of the loan. This is, if that loan had been paid on time every month, it would have matured in April 2018. So it was a 15-year loan. And that's why these borrowers had built up so much equity in their property. Here's another one in Twin Creeks on 1305 Salado, and it's $292,000 is the tax assessed value. It's around 2,900 square feet, which is about $100 a square foot, which is the going rate in Twin Creeks 3. Here is the borrower, the lender, and the trustee. The loan was taken out in '99 for $208,000, and the balance is around $175,000. So and you can go on, but these people, we believe that are motivated. Now, selling their house is not the only option. And I go over that in the How to Buy training class that you guys will have access to. Bottom line is they have 5 different options. And let me just kind of quickly summarize those 5 options. And I think it's important that you understand that you're one of 5 options. Number 1 is these homeowners can still work with their lender to try to avoid the courthouse steps. Banks don't want to foreclose, but if the homeowner doesn't respond, they will. Number 2 is they can refinance. And refinancing in this day and age is almost obsolete when a borrower is 1 or 2 months behind. Lenders just don't loan to people that have fallen behind on their mortgage. Number 3 is declare bankruptcy. A lot of people that have a ton of equity might try to protect that interest or that equity by filing for bankruptcy, but unfortunately about 65 to 70% of people who file bankruptcy actually still end up getting kicked out of bankruptcy and end up posted again for foreclosure. And I'll go over that, I'll go over a little hint on that. These people have been on this foreclosure report before. And you see it right here, check mark. All 5 of these properties have been previously posted. And if you click on this, it will actually show you that this property was posted in April of 2009, in May, and then it was posted twice, and that was probably a typo, in June of 2011, and now it's posted for August 2011. So it gives you an idea that these people have been here before. Here's another one. Look how many times these people have been posted for foreclosure. All the way back since 2003, then 2008, then 2009, and then several times in 2011. They either have a really good attorney or they're a really good salesperson. So this is the leads. Whether you have 5 or 50, you can always expand your backyard as long as it's, close. There's Allen, there's McKinney, there's Plano, and you might have some pretty good leads that are within 15 minutes of each other, and they're in 3 separate cities. So use this every month, implement this lead source, this motivated seller lead source, and I think you'll have some good success. But you have to have a consistent campaign, and that is twice in 7 days. All right, 18 days before the auction and 11 days before the auction. Well, that's it. Post your comments and questions if you have any down below, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks.